Welcome to the MD is Bad podcast, where the name is misleading, but the fans can't hear me. Today, I'm joined by a couple of very, very special guests who, if you've spent any time on YouTube in the murder drone space in the last couple years, you've definitely seen their content. Ladies and gentlemen, Yagster and Dire Duck. Welcome to the podcast, gentlemen.
Dire.
I'm going to wait for you to start.
Good for you.
We've already messed it up. Oh well, whatever. Hello, everybody. I am the Dire Duck. I am a small MD tuber. You may have heard of me. I do murder drones and also some other stuff occasionally. And yeah, I'm involved in quite a few fan projects as well. You probably have heard of.
Yes. Hello. I am Yagster, and I am the same thing as Dire.
Great start. We're a cracking start. Right?
We are off
100%.
to the races, ladies and gentlemen. We are.
Yes. We love icebreakers.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Actually, on the same subject of icebreakers. So I figured there was no better time than the present to bring this up. So Yagster, I understand that your least favorite episode of Murder Drones is episode 5. Am I correct?
You would be correct. You would be correct in that statement. Yes.
So along those same lines, I want both of your guys' opinions on episode 5. What did they do well? What did they not do well?
Oh, okay.
Just let me know. What are your honest opinions about because I know this is not like a new thing. You didn't just come out one day and was like, episode 5's the worst. Episode 5's been out for over a year at this point.
2 years, actually.
2 years. Good grief. Time is flying.
Yeah. It is crazy. Yeah.
So at this point, has anything changed since your initial video? And again, what are both of your opinions on episode 5? Let's start with you, Yagster.
Right. So, episode 5, a very interesting episode, arguably the most unique in the entire show, which is arguably also its biggest strength and weakness as a whole, because this episode is not a traditional flashback, because Crozie's in it. And, to some people, that's a good thing, but to me, that's a big no-no, because we have the most interesting setting in the entire show. We have the Elliott Manor. We have probably the most interesting forms of the characters, because we have the DDs as worker drones, and all of it is not handled the way most people expected. Now, I am all about subverting expectations in a good way. That is good storytelling. However, turning the main character into a crow is not what I would do personally. To put it very short and get straight to the point, episode 5 is very comedic and very much not taking itself seriously half the time, when a lot of the scenes probably would be way better if they were taken seriously. The biggest example I can think of is N going, "Oh no, it's gone," when he sees his own corpse in the basement. Because, if that was taken serious, that might have been one of his best moments in the entire show. So yeah, just Crozy, bad comedy, not seeing the fight scenes, and, generally a very frustrating cliffhanger, I would say, is why I don't like episode 5.
That's fair. What about you? Can I call you Mr. Duck?
Yeah, sure. Wow. So, I can't say I hate episode 5 nearly as much as probably the average fan does. Like, I can't really say I particularly hate any of the episodes too much. I just can't muster up the energy to hate, especially at my age. Or for a cartoon online they can watch for free. But yeah, episode 5 is actually not my least favorite episode. It's actually a controversial opinion coming. It's actually episode 3. I do not like the episode 3.
Really?
I know it's a popular one. Yeah, so I know it's a popular one, and I might get crucified for it. But I just think it's where the show loses a lot of its more Liam Vickers-esque horror aesthetics and like tone. Something that it wouldn't really get back until episode like 7. It wouldn't really get it back. I consider episode 3 to be the start of like kind of the meandering kind of fumbling era of the show, which is episode I consider 3 to 6, like kind of that era. You know, so yeah, it's the era where a lot of the problems in the show that were always kind of there are kind of pushed to the forefront. And I feel like episode 5 gets a lot of hate, is because it's the episode where the people first started really noticing the issues on math. As I already mentioned, the conflicting tone, the horror, then to comedy, then to horror again, like kind of whiplash a lot of people get. The show didn't seem confident in its own scenes half the time, so it had to constantly undercut itself. Now, you had this in the other episodes, like episode 4 is another big example of it, but episode 5 is the first episode where people really noticed it. It also doesn't help that like people like Michael Kovac unintentionally hyped up the episode a lot, like it was something super duper special by going, "Oh yeah, this was the best episode ever to record" and stuff like that. This is gonna be great, and everyone that had their expectations built up to like the fullest, and then they got episode 5. So I don't really think it's uniquely bad on the list. But again, I just like episode 3 a lot more because I also just hate the prom aesthetic personally. I just think it's too silly for me. We're all dressing up in prom dresses and messing around. I get what they're referencing and all, but like compared to episode 2, episode 4, episode 6, and everything else that's going on, it's just so bleh in my mind. Like, also, it takes lots of the setup of episode 2 and then just does nothing with it, and then leaves little to be set up in episode 4. And everything that is set up ends up being pointless. So retroactively, it becomes worse as well due to the other episodes not using the plot points. Like Doll, what does she do? She just fails. And doesn't really get a lot done, and says only like 4 words after episode 3.
I see where you're coming from.
But I think episode 5 is overhated, but I think it's the one where people start to realize that the show is not perfect, and that's why instinctively for a lot of people it gives a very visceral, unpleasant reaction for a lot of people.
So, all of that being said, I'm going to try and absorb as much of the potential hate as there might be here by saying that, at least from my perspective, I believe this wholeheartedly. Definitively, the worst episode in the entire first season is the pilot.
Oh, really?
I will die on that hill. And a lot of people don't agree with me, which is understandable. But I believe the pilot is one of the worst episodes of the show, because there's so many inconsistencies with how the characters act, and the biggest problem just being the animation. I understand
of course
it makes sense. Glitch was coming out of their, it's mocap, right? That's what it's just straight up mocap.
It is mocap, yeah.
A lot of it is mocap, yeah.
So they're coming out of the mocap era, the SMG4 stuff, Sunset Paradise, that sort of thing. And it works really good with the previous shows before Murder Drones. But once you get into Murder Drones itself, it doesn't, I don't know. I personally think it doesn't lend itself as well. And, well, this is just me talking. Feel free to shut me down on this one. But the pilot episode is also the introduction of the N and V maybe have a thing going on. Which
the shipping, right?
We talked about Doll a second ago. I completely agree with you on the Doll thing. Doll fulfills her role, but she is... what does she do? She opens a door.
Her only role she serves in the end is being the parallel to Uzi. Oh, look, this is what happens if Uzi didn't accept N and V into her life and everybody else. She'd end up a miserable git who just gets killed because she didn't have anyone else to support her. That's the only thing she really achieves. But then you could have done that with far less screen time, far less build up. Like, she was set up to be a major player, but then just ends up getting completely blown out by
literally.
And like, I guess you could say, oh, look, it shows Sin was dangerous, but I'm pretty sure we didn't really need Doll to die to demonstrate that Sin was dangerous. We already kind of ascertained that she was dangerous and everything else in the series.
If I may, we literally saw her explode Earth nonchalantly on the monitor screen last episode, or like episode 6 rather, before Doll died. So like, I don't see the need to emphasize it by killing off a random solver drone. So yeah, fully agreed there.
The execution of the human race does a pretty good job for conveying how dangerous a character is, but that's just my personal opinion. What do I know? I've only seen Dragon Ball.
Oh, fair enough.
You could argue that Tessa is the only. Well, again, until we find a twist. I guess not even Tessa. I mean, we do find later, but Tessa's the only major character she gets to kill on that we care about. So, like, I guess you could count like James and Louise Elliott and Frumple Bucket and.
Well, they're inherently unlikable, though. Like,
yeah, so. Like they're not. No one's gonna care about them. It's more just Tessa, really.
Yeah.
And going back to episode 5 and the mansion episode, that episode, I feel like part of the reason it doesn't do as well, one of many reasons with fans, is it continues it's not the only mansion flashback moment we get in the show, obviously, but it does a pretty good job of further confusing the audience on the will they, won't they with N and V. And I understand they try to make like a love triangle thing, and that's part of the stakes of the show, but it's just confusing from someone who wasn't there for every episode that's come out. If you were to binge the entire Murder Drone show from start to finish on Amazon right now, how confusing do you guys think that would be, especially in regards to like character relationships?
I'm actually really glad you mentioned that because, okay, big tangent incoming. So just prepare yourself. The way I've always seen it, there are like three quote unquote types of Murder Drones fans. There's the people who've been here since day one, right? The people who, like you said, binge the entire thing, and people who just kind of watch it nonchalantly with their friends, like the very casual ones. This creates a massive divide in opinion, and especially how people think. Because if you've seen everything since day one, you waited every month for every episode to come out, you know, like you waited all 4 years, so to speak, you would have a much differing opinion than someone who literally, like you said, would go on Amazon and just like watch everything right now. This is mostly due to just personal attachment, I would say, and like headcanon almost. Because the more time you spend like pondering everything, the more you want something to happen. And if that thing doesn't happen, it might make you inherently dislike something more. I.e., episode 5 being a real flashback, because like the teasers were all hyping it up. As Dyer said, Michael Kovac said, it was the funnest episode to record for N. So maybe someone who watched every episode, you know, when it came out, when it premiered, would dislike episode 5 more than someone who binged it all in one sitting. Because, you know, it's the funny haha manner episode, and like we see Sin and that she's cool and everything. So to answer your question, Professor Sarah, to tying back to this, I think someone who watches everything on Amazon, like right now, right this second, would come out of it feeling pretty positive, all things considered. Because, you know, it's a fun show. It's a 3-hour ride, and generally, I think it does deliver, like, on most people's, like, standards. So, generally, yeah, I'd say they'd come out of it pretty positive.
I'm not sure I entirely agree with that.
Go on.
Like, in terms of the original thing Professor Sir saying about, obviously, the ships, obviously, you weren't in the fandom, I believe, at that point, but the shipping wars were very vicious back in the day. Very, very vicious.
I was there.
Oh, you were there? Okay, so you know then.
No,
okay,
I'm just saying that. Sorry, I'm quoting quoting a Helldivers 2 quote. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, they were very vicious. Like, it was a very locked battle between the MV and Newsy shippers. As someone who's come from more of the kind of, I guess we'll get into a bit later, in terms of, I think, the origins of why we're in the fandom and whatnot. But I come from like the Liam Vickers kind of old guard. So the two murder creatures getting together, like it's with the Envy ship, is the more natural Liam Vickers ship by my mind. I guess like you can also go to design and take and say that call it a Newsy parallel there, which is worth me nothing to anyone who doesn't know. But yeah. So, but yeah, even so, I still think there's the more natural Liam Vickers ship or romance to write. So I guess I'm technically an MV shipper, but I don't really care much for the ships either way, personally. And I think they take up a little bit too much time with the show. But I get what a lot of people are interested in that stuff, so I guess they kind of had to commit at that point. But yeah, I don't think people worry about the ships. I think the thing that people will be confused about is just the lore. Murder Drones in the show demands your attention and demands you to begin to pay a heavy attention to what's going on and like extrapolate things from small details and visual things you see in the background. The average viewer, especially in modern day, won't be prepared for that. So they will probably get through their first viewing of the show and be confused as all hell in terms of why half the things in the show happened. They'll pick up on some key details, but without watching through and really paying attention to those small little details that are hidden in the background of every episode, and there's a lot of them, they won't really get a lot of the key lore detail. I mean, they'll get the very basic thing, you know, like emo girl meets murder vampire bot, they team up, fight big eldritch creature and win and live happily ever after. But a lot of the in-between there, they won't really clock on the first viewing. So I think they'll rather leave satisfied, as Jag said, leave very confused, without either watching it through again or having someone explain it to them or watching some YouTube videos after the fact.
Hopefully they do watch some YouTube videos, considering what the three of us do.
Subscribe to our channels, yeah.
I'm inclined to agree. But, okay, Interesting point, Dyer. However, this might just be from.
Walls?
Okay, well, I knew that already, but to kind of counter your point, almost, at least from what I've seen personally, at least, yeah, like initially when episode 8 came out, at least, like a lot of people just, they see the funny haha animation, like it looks really cool, and I would think that most of them leave pretty satisfied. To your point, though, the show is confusing as all hell. Like there's like 20 details on like each frame. It's why people really love the lore, especially people who've been here for a while. Yeah. They love analyzing literally everything. So yeah. But I think this does bring up a point of the show kind of shooting itself in the foot, because by episode 7, the show is just, okay, let's kill Sin. And all of it just folds into like one storyline pretty much. Instead of all the prior stuff, like the company, then disassembly drones burning in the sunlight, because and the Uzi literally fall, and they're burning in outer space, and like that's very interesting considering what the show said in the pilot. So generally, I can see where you're coming from, but at least in my experience, I do think the experience is more positive for newer people.
Isn't it incredible? All of this being said, how many millions of views does the show have at this point? Do you guys know? If I should have pulled this up before.
Like combined?
Like combined at this point, it's hundreds of millions.
Yeah, I think it's probably like 500 million total. Almost probably more than that actually. Oh
my word!
We can do some quick math after this. Hold up, it's definitely near 1 billion if you round up.
That's insane. See. And this isn't even the most popular show that Glitch has done. The Amazing Digital Circus, I think, sits at the most. Maybe we'll see the Gaslight District overtake it. I don't know. It's pure speculation. I hope it does.
The indie animation, I guess, recipe to create a super popular indie animated show, what seems to be anyway, apart from obviously luck. The Gaslight District, because it's a more interesting and of a very creative and out there show, which I think is a good thing personally. It doesn't have the same ingredients that Murder Drone, Digital Circus, and like Hypothetical Hotel and what it had to make them super successful. It's much more gritty and disgusting by design, which again I think it's a good thing. But it doesn't have the cutesy little characters like Digital Circus had. It doesn't have like the OC potential of like Hellbot, and it doesn't have again the fun visual and again OC potential of Murder Drones. Like it doesn't quite have all that. Like if you look around, you struggle to find a lot of artwork and interest in the Gaslight District anywhere you do. Like any video on the Gaslight District underperforms. Like people just aren't as interested broadly. And like even Murder back in pilot, that got like I want to say less views at its inception than the Gaslight District did. It still had a lot more cultural weight to it. Again, it might pick up as the series continues, but I remember Murder Drones having a lot more cultural weight. So it had the hotel right when it released. It had a lot more cultural weight going to it, and unless you really dig for it, you struggle to find a lot of Gaslight District hype. Like a lot of the art servers, that just do general glitch art. You see Gaslight by far the least interested one. Though, again, it's the one that had the least amount of show going on thus far. But I still remember at the pilot of all these other big indie shows, them having a lot more cultural weight behind them.
So speaking of cultural weight, so I don't know if you guys are aware, but Hollywood's not doing too good right now. The film industry in general is kind of, we mentioned shooting yourself in the foot earlier. Hollywood seems to do that every single week. It's insane how consistent they are at being inconsistent. I can't wrap my head around it. This is, Hollywood's been around since the 40s. The film industry in general has been around for well over 100 years at this point. You would think we would have some kind of basic standard for entertainment at this point, but even if it actually does exist, people just can't seem to reach it. And I think that's part of the reason why indie projects like what Glitch is doing, like the Has-Been Hotel stuff, like Monkey Wrench, my personal favorite, Dungeon Flippers, all of that, they're getting millions upon millions upon millions of views, so much engagement, more than Hollywood could ever dream of having, even with something. So I think the highest grossing film right now is Jurassic World. currently pulling in around 800 million at the box office domestically. That's not including it's at least broken even. We don't know exactly how much the costs for marketing have been, but even so, despite all of that money, I think there's a good argument to be made that more people are paying attention to indie animated stuff that's being uploaded to platforms like YouTube. So that being said, I have a fun question for you guys here. So Nintendo Land opened recently in Florida. We've also gotten How to Train Your Dragon Land. These are both at Universal Studios. We have a Star Wars Land from Disney. We've got...
I don't know where you're going here.
So the announcement is made that there is going to be a glitch themed land at let's just pick a random, let's say, what would be funny? SeaWorld somehow wins the bid. Actually, no. So Dude Perfect is supposed to be opening their own, fellow YouTubers. They're supposed to be opening their own theme park at some point. They decide to branch out and invite other really popular YouTube, groups and channels to open their own lands.
IPs, yeah.
So glitches, naturally, they win the bid. So they're supposed to be, generally with theme parks, it's a bit convoluted, I apologize, but so you're supposed to have your e-ticket attraction, your main, roller coaster, whatever dark ride thing. Then you have a smaller attraction that could be for kids or whatever, and then you have a show. So out of nowhere, you both get called in by Glitch, and they're like, listen, we know that you guys are really passionate about our IPs. We just want your opinions. What do you think we should do for our theme park land? What should we do for our e-ticket attraction, our secondary, maybe kiddie ride, maybe not, and our show? What are your guys' opinions?
Ooh, I think both Murder Drones and especially Digital Circus do lend themselves quite well to an easy kind of like Disneyland-esque world. Like the circus itself, you could just do anything with that pretty much. You just like, slap bright cards on it, throw a Digital Circus character in there, and you're pretty good. Like you could probably just give like half the Disney rides a repaint with Digital Circus and you'd be fine. Like I don't think Digital Circus is very hard to convert into a theme park attractions and like world at all. I definitely think an obvious roller coaster would be an easy thing to do there. Again, I don't think it would take too much. Like just have a little like intro bit of Kane. Oh, we're going on an adventure, and like just catapult them in there. You can have it be one of those the ones where you put the headset on while you're going through it.
Oh, like the
for a Digital Circus adventure,
like the video game kind of rides where you shoot the targets and stuff.
No. Like there are some virtual reality ones where they put the headsets on.
Yeah.
Either you're shaking around just in a box, or you're just taking it through like the easy. I can't believe. I think in Alton Towers, if you're in the UK, there's one called Galactica. I think it's called now. Where it's they put you on a roller coaster, but they also put you in a VR headset, so you watch your VR headset as you fly through the roller coaster. So stuff like that. Like I think that's an easy one to adapt. Murder Drones, I think you have to do a lot more clever theming. Like you can't just like give a coat of paint to random attractions. I think one of those kind of shooting gallery ones would definitely be an easy thing to do. I think the roller coaster, maybe like end flying lessons. I don't know. Something like that. But yeah, like I think if I was them, I'd lean on doing animated little segments for everything. Like I'd lean on like animating like I want to say own little segment for the show. Again, maybe like a one of those like walkthrough attractions. We kind of walk through, you watch a little set piece play out with animatronics, whatever you walk on. I think stuff like that would also be fairly easy for them to fit into the kind of aesthetics of Digital Circus and Murder Drones. For the Gaslight District, I think it would be quite a bit harder. I don't think you can do some stuff, but also the Gaslight District isn't really very developed right now, so there's not really a lot to go on.
Riddle me this. What if there was a Gaslight District themed restaurant?
Oh, I think you the novelty will be interesting, but actually producing food that fits for the Gaslight District.
Oh, it would be gross.
It would, 100%
disgusting.
If you want to sell food, I'm not sure that's the best thing to do.
just serve some slop,
Oh yeah, like a fly head. It screams at you when it gets on the table.
The little like turd in the intro, it's just like chocolate.
It's ice cream, yeah.
Yeah. You gotta remember, guys, they want to sell the food, not make people.
People like chocolate, right?
I know, but typically people don't like to present chocolate what looks like a pile of poo. Funnily enough,
Here's the thing.
I mean,
when it comes to all of that, I think Glitch fans would love it. You could even go so far as to have like it would be a soda or a drink or something kind of similar to how Universal does butterbeer, but it would be like drone oil. It could have like a drone hand as a straw or something coming out of it. That kind of stuff would absolutely, Glitch fans would love it. Everyone else would make they'd have an absolute hissy fit about it on social media. This is disgusting. I don't want my kids, whatever, doing all this. But I don't know. There's such I see so many opportunities with that. But do you guys think something like that would actually happen?
If it would happen, it would have to be like Disney picks them up to do it or something like that. I don't think Glitch has the funding to ever pull something like that off on their own.
It has to be like someone else buying
someone
it.
Else
or
have to
quote
come
unquote.
through, either buy out. Would probably have to buy out Glitch and like make them like a subsidiary for anything like that to ever happen. I don't think Glitch is not. We think Glitch is big because they dominate a lot of at least the circles of the internet that we're in, but still relatively termed, Glitch are a very small fish in a very large ocean. They don't really have they know what they're appealing to, and they do get a lot of like support and funding from other places. Like I know Amazon's helping them out a bit now, Epic Games, or the Australian government's helping them out. But they don't. But even with all that help, they just don't have the capital to be able to put that out. I don't think, because if they did have the capital to put that out, they'd be a lot bigger of a studio right by this point if they had that money rolling around.
True. What do you think, Yagster?
Generally, yeah, I think I have the same take as Dyer. Very boring, I know. The only other example I can think of that's similar to this is the Amazing Digital Circus Cafe. Is that even still up, actually?
No, it's not.
It's not.
Temporary, I think.
Oh, right. Anyways, yeah, I severely doubt there would be any longevity in it, even if it was opened, but, it would be very cool, probably, hopefully. Tying back real quick to the whole glitch takeover thing at the thingy-majig. I'm definitely not losing my train of thought here. The only MD ride I can think of is like do you guys know those like rides that like go up and down like it's like a giant tower pretty much?
Here, the drop ones.
Yeah, the drop one. Yeah. The only one I can think of is just that, but the Spire pretty much for murder drones. Just all the robot corpses and everything.
Oh, that would be sick, actually. That would be good theming.
Yeah, straight up. First thing I thought of, actually.
I actually... I agree. I think that if there was going to be some kind of murder drones attraction at this point, or just like glitch attraction in general, it would be something akin to the pop-up cafe that they did, which was that in Japan? Am I remembering?
It was in Japan, I believe.
I believe it was a restaurant that one restaurant that themed some of the stuff around Digital Circus for a short promotional thing. I believe that's what it was.
So fun fact, we actually, in the middle of, interesting name, Chinatown in Houston, Texas, they have a similar kind of restaurant cafe thing that does different themes every single month. And I can see places like that doing something. I don't know exactly how like royalty pay works with that, but as of now, I think that's the most we could hope for. That being said, do you guys think that, so Murder Drones ended officially over a year ago at this point. Do you think that outside of like merchandise advertisements we get on their YouTube channel, do you see Glitch continuing to grow, or do you think they're going to hit that sort of same level that Vivzy Pop reached, where they just kind of level out and the fans continue to return? But as far as new people coming in goes, it's hit or miss. What do you guys think the future of Glitch is looking like?
I think they'll be able to secure their position more, but I don't think they're going to grow like super, like unless they want to take the really big steps. I don't know how willing they'll be to do it. I think they are probably going to level out. I don't think they're going to get another cultural phenomenon like Digital Circus. They'll ride that wave for as long as they can, most definitely. But eventually, they'll be forgotten in the past. Same with Murder, and all they'll have is Gaslight and wherever else comes off, and they're going to Guinevere. There'll be a point where that's their two things going on. And I don't think either. I could be wrong because Knights of Guinevere is made by the Owl House lot, so maybe I'm sure the fans there will like descend on it, probably like because of that. But I just don't see those two having quite the same cultural appeal that Digital Circus and Murder Drones did. Because again, like just looking at both those shows, they don't really strike me as the kind of shows that have the magical indie source you need to become like mega popular and culturally significant. At the end of the day, it is the fan bases that carry a lot of these shows because they don't have the marketing to be able to push these like Disney does and these other companies. So it is the fan base. And the fan base is not like ravenously passionate and pumping stuff out all the time to spread your reach. These shows will struggle long term to maintain cultural relevance. Like Digital Circus has it because it's just so massive, everyone's heard of it. Murder Drones had it because it was very unique at the time, and it still is. And again, it had a lot of very passionate fans latch on early and like kind of help spread it around. But Gaslight doesn't really seem to have had that very much. You got the big channels doing it, a couple of channels like mine doing it, but the videos like doing the perform, and then you have Guinevere. That I just looking at what we have for it. Again, I could be wrong, but it just doesn't seem like it has the same cultural weight as Murder Drones and Digital Circus did. So I think they'll be secure for their future. They'll be a steady company, but I don't think they're becoming next Disney anytime soon. Put it that way.
I think that's fair. Any thoughts?
Same boat. I severely doubt, though, honestly, if it does happen, that would be very cool. That anything they will produce in the near future will ever surpass, honestly, Murder Drones, because like Digital Circus is just it's too big for its own good, I would argue. And honestly, I think that they're at a point where no matter what they do, they're going to be successful. Like the amount of support, the amount of inherent positive things that they've done for the indie animation sphere, it's very, very cool. Though, however, I personally am in the same boat as Dyer in the sense of I don't think they can grow too much. At the time of recording, I think they have like 16 million subscribers, if I'm not mistaken. They'll probably get around 25 million, I want to say, when Digital Circus ends. And I guess very slowly grow from there. But I'm not sure they're going to get too much further for a bit, like in terms of sub count.
They won't be around, and they're not going to like fail or anything like that.
Well, absolutely, but it's just
I'm sure it's in gross numbers. They may technically get more stuff like Murder Drones and Gaslight does in the long term future, but I don't think in terms of cultural relevance they're really going to have that next show unless they pump out Digital Circus season 2 or Murder Drones season 2, which I think as time goes on they'll be more and more tempted to maybe try. But I do believe the contracts that they sign, based on what I know, are very, very favorable to the creators themselves in terms of what they're allowed to do with the franchise. So it will depend on what Liam and Gooseworks want to do, and both of them seem pretty secure in just leaving things as they are for now. But who knows? Like creatives like them typically change their minds on things a lot. So who knows what we'll see?
Honestly, you guys took the words right out of my mouth. I think the future is pretty good right now. It's and I don't think this is a unique take by any means. Glitch is doing pretty good, and they're going to continue doing good. But at some point, I don't know. I'm in the same boat. I know it's really, really unfair to make this call right now, but Knights of Guinevere doesn't carry the same umph for me. I haven't watched the Owl House personally. Maybe I'll watch the Owl House and my opinion will change. But as of now, Knights of Guinevere doesn't look as appealing as Murder Drones and the Amazing Digital Circus and even the Gaslight District did. I don't know. That being said, I just thought while you guys were talking, I thought about one thing. Imagine if Glitch comes out of nowhere and is like, yeah, we are going to do a season 2, but it's not going to be to Murder Drones. It's not going to be to the Amazing Digital Circus or Gaslight District. We're going to go back to like Sunset Boulevard or something like that, or one of their
Sunset Paradise.
Sorry, Sunset Paradise, or is the other one called Arc Runner?
Meta Runner.
Sorry, I'm getting everything mixed up.
No, you're good. You're good.
Imagine they come out and they're like, we're going to do a sequel series to one of those shows to hopefully bring people who maybe like me came in on Murder Drones and haven't really seen the other two series or haven't watched them all the way through, we're going to try and basically generate some interest in some of our old stuff and maybe bring people. I don't know if it would bring new people in necessarily, but it would definitely make existing fans pretty happy. I guess let me ask you guys. Go ahead.
I mean, apart from like, I don't sound mean, but like little kids that were watching SMG4, stuff like that. I see no one care about Metadrones and Sunset Paradise. I see no one seems to care. Like Glitch Glitch doesn't care about Sunset Paradise. They don't even have it on any of their stuff anymore. They have Tari show up as the guy like the token like meta runner character popping up, but like Glitch have realized that their two previous things are culturally irrelevant, and if they want to market themselves, it's got to be Digital Circus, it's got to be Murder Drones, and then it'll weigh up Murder Drones in time. They'll start dropping it and just be Digital Circus. They'll try and get the Gaslight District in there, and yeah, those are the shows they market. They're new shows. They're culturally irrelevant shows.
So I don't know,
like even if they make a season 2 or season 4, I guess of Matt because this preseason it got, I don't think people would care very much. Like, oh, look, it's that show they made. And probably get maybe some initial numbers, but problem is what came before it is so vastly inferior to what they're producing now. It would be, oh, you've got to watch season 1 to really understand what's going on. Oh, season 1's a bit okay, and then it just like falls on its face immediately. Like it'll do all right. I'm sure it'll get 9 million views or something like that. Like it'll do well, but because it's just such a larger audience now. But I don't think it would really pop off like you might be hoping it would.
That's fair. It would be the problem is Glitch is really niche. Everything that they do is really niche. It appeals to a very specific demographic of people who spend a lot of their time on social media online, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just Glitch fills a very, very specific need. And personally, I love that they have given people like Liam Vickers, like Gooseworks, like Tactical Seagull. It's not Tactical Seagull. What's his name?
Part-Time Seagull.
Part-Time Seagull. Tactical Seagull is it's a meme from Rainbow Six Siege. Wow.
Tactical.
Anyway, they're the Seagull guy. The fact that they give them the chance to make their own shows on a platform that's guaranteed to draw attention to their work is awesome. So that being said, I don't know how familiar you guys are with animators on social media. Are there any creators out there that you want to see link up with Glitch and make something?
Okay. Well, that's a good one actually.
I've got one off the bat if you want me to give you guys a second to
go on, yeah.
Jaden Animations.
Okay, well, by extension, then like the odd ones out, then yeah.
Yeah, that's Storytime creator though. Like,
yeah, that's where it's tough because on the one hand, you know that there's a very distinct style, and for what I guess she can tell a story. It's a real story, but she can still tell a story. So, can you guys think of anyone that does just like?
Wait.
I like the thing with to kind of go on that minute, J-Man animations. Like, what's the one that's like a white little blob? What's that?
One's out. One's out. That's what I said.
Yeah, they made a show and it was awful.
Netflix, yeah.
Did they really? I didn't even know. Awful. They made a show.
Yeah, it's called like I think it's called like Oddballs or something.
Yeah, it's just
it got like really review bombed and it's really like catered to kids. Yeah,
like I don't think Jaden. Again, it's a different medium. I think building an actual show
actually
is a lot different to actually to just doing what Jaden does. Like Jaden can animate on their own terms, I guess. I think they do it themselves. I assume.
Yes, they are a self-taught animator.
Yeah, but like telling a real story, like you got Liam and Gooseworks both had some story writing experience and some more professional-ish experience before going into this. Part-Time Seagull also. A bit less so, but they still work within the indie animation industry a lot, had a lot of connections around that. Jaden, as far as I'm aware, does not have that. Liam Vickers wrote like 500 stories before going into it. Gooseworks had their own little independent short films going on. Part-Time Seagull had a load of like comics and stuff going into this on their own terms. They wrote, also worked with Hell of a Boss and whatnot. But Jaden has none of that. And if Glitch would ever do that, it would just be for something. It would be because Jaden's big, not because they're talented. Not to be rude to Jaden, but like Gooseworks and Liam and Part of Seagull, there's some unquestionable passion and talent and like thought behind all their things, regardless of their flaws. Jaden, I don't think had that like backing behind her, but she's more popular creator than all three of the three of them put together. So I think what Glitch will be looking for is someone who could bring something unique to the table. I don't think Jaden could do that. But to go back, wrap all the way back around to your question, because I appreciate me rambling a bit. The two things I want to like, I struggle to think of it myself. Like, Part of Seagull was like nothing but the style. He had like 2K subscribers, less than I did, but Glitch picked him up anyway. So there's probably some amazing creative out there that we have not seen that could come out of nowhere and just make something amazing. The Glitch will locate somehow. But I'd love to see Liam make something again that's just more Liam, that isn't Murder Drones, like, you know, reviving design, reviving auto-ejectors, reviving Cliffside, reviving InterDCQ, any one of those I'd love to see get revived. The only one I can think of is this Nico Jang and Anime Works, which did the We Love Cold War short animation. I don't know if you've seen any of you've seen that one.
I'm not familiar with that, no.
Yeah, I'll grab the video for you right now and dump it in the chat.
Oh, okay.
It's a like spoofy anime like Cold War-esque show. That focuses on like the two sides of the Cold War, you know, cutesy hijinks ensues and all that, you know, a lot of like, you know, historical references and stuff. I personally really like that. Not sure how much mass market appeal I have, but I'd love to see that get made into a real show. And Glitch is the only company I think could ever pick it up to do it. I'm not sure if Glitch's style is 2D, but you have the 2D department, but even so, I'm not sure if it's Glitch's thing. Might be a bit too more close to home in terms of being the Cold War for them to really go with. But I personally love to see that get made. But that's just my wish fulfillment, not really like who would Glitch realistically pick up.
What do you think, Yag?
There's one in particular, and I do believe this person is right up Glitch's alley in terms of beliefs, generally writing and vibe and everything. That person is Rebecca Sugar, the creator of Steven Universe.
Ooh.
I firmly believe that if she was given the chance to make a show with Glitch, it would be very Steven Universe adjacent, like, you know, Cartoon University and everything. And generally, what's the word? It fits right up their alley generally, especially with more queer themes and LGBTQ stuff.
That would be interesting.
Like,
I mean, they're already kind of going in that direction with picking up. What's the lady that made Owl House? I can't believe I'm so bad with names right now.
Oh no! I had her name somewhere.
That lady. Yes, who's very good at her job and definitely did not deserve what happened to her in the industry. I would love to see Glitch pair up with people that have worked in the industry. Like, who made did you guys ever see that show Infinity Train?
Oh, I did on Cartoon. I keep saying Universe now. Network. Yeah, Cartoon Network. Network. Okay, yeah.
So the pilot,
yeah. I did see Infinity Train. Yeah,
like what they've done a lot of times. I don't know if it was Cartoon Network specifically that did it. Same thing that happened with Adventure Time and a couple other shows. They uploaded the pilot to YouTube first, just to gauge what people, which I think is really an idea if you're trying to make a show. You get audience of feedback immediately on something. You can adjust things as need be. I would love to see, because Infinity Train got, I want to say like 3 seasons or something, and then just deleted. And from what I understand, I didn't keep up with everything, but the guy that made it is, like a lot of these people we've talked about, really passionate about animation, has a couple more ideas that they didn't get to fully realize. I would love to see people like that brought in to work with Glitch and maybe make their own show, or at least help with the shows they've already got. I don't know. I feel like the sky's the limit at this point. They can honestly do whatever they want, and people will probably show up for it. Generally, it's all about, you know, hype beforehand, presentation, that sort of thing. Before we move on to the last thing I wanted to talk about, I have one more person I want to float this past you guys. I'm going to put it in the chat here. So maybe you're familiar with this person's content. This is Disand, who I believe is Korean. Have you guys heard of this person's channel before?
Wait, I may not know their name, but I think I know what they've made. Hold up, let me fact check.
So this is the person behind the My Ghost Friend, I think is what the series is called.
I have heard of that, definitely.
So this person, if you spent any time on TikTok, you've probably scrolled through, and you're a fan of animation, you've probably scrolled through their stuff at some point. Really kind of cutesy, very distinct style, lots of like meme sound effects, that sort of thing, yet surprisingly well done. This person has like over 10 million subscribers at this point. My question to you guys is, if Glitch decided to pair with someone like this, how do you think that would go over with fans of Glitch?
I think there'd definitely be a bit. I feel there'd definitely be a bit more of a. I want to say an uproar, like, oh, why aren't you lifting up smaller creators? You just go after the big people now. Glitch has become corrupted, which I could sort of see the argument, like comparing like Liam and like I guess they were big creators, but like they weren't super big. Like again, like Part-Time Seagull had like 2K subscribers when he got picked up by Glitch. So working with a massive established brand like that might be considered, like, just looking at the channel, it might be considered YouTube slop. Again, I haven't watched this, I can't see it, but I know people will accuse it of being that, whether it is or not, just looking at it. I think it might be good though to have a sort of series like this that Glitch has in the back pocket, like something they could just like they could bring out relatively frequent shorts as smaller shorter videos that they could put out in between their big releases of their actual shows, because at the moment it's like they try and they hype up the new shows a couple weeks in advance, but they also try and get them, it's mostly just merch videos and other stuff like that to fill in the gaps, and they have very little between those 3 months, especially when they only have like 2 shows going on. Well, technically they have 1 show going on because Gaslight being made, and so's
Guinevere,
yeah. But those 2 aren't really in syndication fully yet. Like the pilot got made and I'm kind of hovering around saying, oh, are we going to make a full season? Okay, now we are. So that could take another year or so before we see more Gaslight. If there's anything like Murder Drones, which I think will be quicker, to be honest. Same with Guinevere, we won't see that till at least the end of the year, if not next year. So it's only really Digital Circus to have in play right now in terms of shows that are actively airing. And I think, honestly, we'll probably see episode 7 before Gaslight. Though that might not be the case. We'll have to see. Glitch do work a lot faster than they did at the days of early Murder Drones, so we'll have to see. But I do think having like a short they can put out a week of like this kind of show will be pretty good for them in terms of like keeping them relevant in the algorithm and keeping them propped up. But looking at the numbers they're bringing in, I don't know if they need it.
Probably not. I mean, they're advertising. Speaking of Glitch specifically, and shorts and TikTok, that kind of what is it? 16:9? Is that the format?
Yeah. I believe so. Yeah.
It's not horizontal. It's vertical. So vertical formatted a show like that's exclusively in like short format or in TikTok format, whatever it might be, or Instagram Reels. Heaven forbid they ever go that route. I don't know. I feel like I'm excited. I know it doesn't exist yet, and we're trying to like offer advice for a multi-million-dollar company at this point. But I see like a lot of untapped potential there if they decide to do something similar to what Dsand and other creators who exclusively make stuff for platforms like TikTok. I feel like that'd be pretty big. I don't know if it would reach the same heights as something like Murder Drones would, or The Amazing Digital Circus, or Gaslight, but I don't know, that feels pretty cool. So in rounding things out here, because we're getting close to the end of the show here, I know this has been pretty awesome. You guys are awesome. Really quick.
No, you are too, bro.
Well, thank you. Really quick, I want you guys, so plug your channels really quick. Where can people find you?
YouTube. Just Yagster and Dire Duck on both, I would assume. Yeah, Dire?
Yeah. I've like, my name is thankfully pretty distinct. So just type in Dire Duck and I'm probably.
I believe we all have pretty distinct names here.
I'm the one with the very generic duck profile pic, and also just at Dire Duck. I'm also technically another platform, but the only one I'm actually really on is X, where I occasionally post stuff. Though I can't say I'm like I'm not terminally online on X, fortunately for my sanity. So, I appreciate its use of the platform to connect with people, but like I'm not super active there. But I am there occasionally. So maybe throw me a follow and maybe get me above like a couple hundred subs might be good on there. But just at Diet really. Yeah, not much more to say really.
You heard it here, everyone. If you're listening to this podcast and you've listened this far, thank you so much for listening. Please remember to hit that subscribe button. The last thing I wanted to talk about before I let these guys go. So there was, I don't know how long ago it was. There was a convention that took place this year, I assume it was, that I believe both of you attended, where you got to meet the.
Wait, you mean Expo?
Level Up Expo? Yeah, Level Up Expo.
I did not go. That was Dyer and that was Death Templar, the person who made IRL Sin.
Right.
I'm actually planning to go next year, so yeah, that's very cool. Anyways, please go on.
So that being said, I go to a lot of conventions. I host a convention called PokeFest in Texas. It's free. It's very anime themed, that kind of thing. And I personally love conventions. You never know what you're going to see at a convention. It's either going to be really cool, really cringe, or somewhere in between. And I wanted to ask you guys, what do you want to see at the next Level Up Expo specifically?
Oh, good question. Definitely more of those like statues, Dyer. Yeah, you saw them, yeah?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, yeah.
Right. They're also selling merch there, yeah?
Oh yeah, selling merch. Though not a lot of it was unique. They had one unique poster, but most of it was just Daphne merch at the time, if I remember correctly. Honestly, Level Up was actually the first major convention I went to, because like funny story. I wasn't initially planning to go. I'm honestly I'm pretty apathetic about conventions mostly. But like, I was at a Discord call with DT. I was like, oh, I'm going. I was like, oh, you should go too. I was like, okay. No, you should come out. We can meet up and stuff. Like, oh, all right, fine. And I just 4 weeks before the date, I just booked a holiday and organized all that. Quick turnaround to just marched out there on my own to Vegas. Which it was quite the frantic affair, getting myself out there for that. But I got there and had a good time. Though a lot of it is people selling things. Like, to be perfectly honest, apart from the talks, if you really wanted to, you could probably like get everything you wanted at the convention in one day. Like you get around the store, look at all the things, do all the things you want to do, probably one day if you really push for it. So like, I guess more stuff to do that you can consistently do, because a lot of it is just like shopping almost. Yeah, right. A fanciful like shopping mall of like unique stuff, which is cool to see. But flying out to another country for it, I'm not sure that's necessarily worth it. Like, it was worth it to me because I got to meet up with people who were there. I got to meet with Animator Thing and Death Templar. That's what made it worth it for me. Also, I had a holiday in Vegas at the same time. Though I guess my priorities are different to everyone else's, so I might be different. But just more things to do that aren't just shopping is my thing. More things to see and more things to be involved in. Like, they had they had a talk going, they had like a voice actor competition going, as well as things, but a bit more of that kind of that stuff going. More stuff that is unique to the convention that isn't just shopping. Because at the end of it, a lot of this stuff you can technically buy online. Even the glitch merch, only one poster there was a fully unique poster for that convention, and it was still just the big panel of all the glitch characters in one frame, which I think is already available online. So if you really want to, you could probably print it out. Obviously I don't encourage you to do that, obviously, but so just more unique things that you can only do at the convention is what I'd say. A reason to go out there and be there in person.
That is fair. I think, well, if I could in some way influence, and I can't, but if I could in any way influence glitch, I would say we need more photo op opportunities. So going like the statues thing, it's great. They've got, I think, a full-size statue of Pomni, and I think
and
N. They've got one of N. Let's get more stuff like that. Just more unique. I agree. More unique opportunities. You need a reason to go out beyond just it's Glitch. They've got some cool stuff. Let's see more convention exclusive merchandise. Let's see a convention exclusive, like, I don't know, you could even go so far as to make a holiday ornament. Just something to get people to go out. And I don't know, if anyone could come up with it, I think Glitch could. But glazing aside, I guess is there anything as far as like the Murder Drones fandom and the Glitch fandom in general is concerned? What do you guys enjoy most about it?
Just engaging with people who share the same interest, and I guess to be blunt, are cool people. Like, they're not excessively, rude, aggressive, or try and force their opinions on people. Just people who, I'd want to hang out with. And thankfully, in my experience, I've met a lot of people like that, including you guys. So yeah, very cool. It's also nice just seeing genuinely good discussion, like we had earlier, like, what's your least favorite episode? Why? That type of stuff. It's reasons like that that I really like just being in this fandom every day and being able to say, yeah, like, there's some bad stuff, but there's also good stuff to balance it out. And that generally is how I get by.
In terms of my end, I think it's because how do I put this? Like, I don't really get involved actively in many fandoms at all. Like, I guess I'll tell you my backstory. Like, I was here from with Mergers from the beginning, but I wasn't active until like near episode 8. I was only really became active in the community, like, truly active right at the end, like publicly active. Like, I was always kind of there watching on the sidelines, the casual view, I guess. Obviously not quite casual view, but like I didn't really participate in all the major discussions like shipping wars and everything else that happened back in the day. I was there for all of it, but I didn't really participate too much in it. But unlike a lot of my peers in this community, I didn't come from Glitch or SMG4 or anything like that. I came from the Liam Vickers. I followed him from his channel to Murder Drones. And I followed him from that channel from his old channel, SSWL. So we're talking like 10 years back this is going. So this is a very, very long period of progression, kind of watching him evolve, which I think was very cool to see. And just seeing him finally succeed was very cathartic for me. It's like someone I followed for a very, very long time. Actually getting there and getting to make his own big show. All these ideas that he kind of got abandoned for a very long time. Finally, it all get to come together again and be able to kind of express himself, which I think was very awesome. But I was only really active in the community because Yagster and Vanity Moth of all people pushed me to do it. The only reason why I'm actually in this game, why I'm a public figure, I guess, in the community, is because I was encouraged to do so by Vanity Moth and Yagster. So I guess I wouldn't be here without those two. But yeah, just seeing the community evolve and keep going despite everything, despite the show being over, is a really sweet thing to see from a very enduring fandom. And just be able to bounce back from a lot of things that have gone wrong, sometimes by the fandom's own actions, to be perfectly honest. Just seeing it like keep going and still producing interesting things to this day for a show that's long dead. Literally dead, but you know what I mean. Like, as actual syndication of the main series is done. It's very pretty to see. I mean, I wish I can give more of a definitive answer to you there, but yeah, I'm just kind of rambling. I apologize.
No, you're good. I think the coolest thing about being a part of all this and seeing how Murder Drones has literally started people's careers on social media, I just think it's incredible that it all came out of a show about cute little robots murdering the heck out of each other. People say we're in the darkest timeline. I don't agree. I think we're in the funniest timeline. And honestly, if anybody's going to keep making the funny, it's probably going to be Liam Vickers. It's going to be Gooseworks. It's going to be the Seagull gentleman. It's going to be Glitch, especially. I don't know. It's amazing. I'm grateful that both of you have agreed to come on and make an appearance on the show today. It's been awesome having you here. And thanks for inviting me to be in that incredible retrospective video on Murder Drones.
No, of course.
To
Of course, man. Yeah.
if anybody who's listening to this podcast hasn't seen that video yet, go and watch it. In fact, we're going to end the episode right now because I'm going to go and rewatch it because it's incredible. So that being said, thank you all so much for listening. This has been Professor on the MD is Bad podcast. Thank you, Yagster. Thank you, Mr. Duck, for appearing on the show. You guys have been wonderful. Thank you so much for being here.
Hey,
Thank
it's
you.
been a pleasure, man. If you want us again sometime, just, send us a DM. I'd love to do this, bro, genuinely.
Oh, 100%. But with that, thank you all so much.
Let's
for
go,
watching.
man.
Yes, sir. But thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye for now, everyone.
All right.
Bye-bye.
A huge thank you to Yagster and Dire Duck for making an awesome appearance on this little podcast of mine. If you like what you heard, please check out both of their channels through the links below, and don't forget to subscribe while you're there. This episode is sponsored by American Nexus, my new isekai satire novel. The third and final book is currently being edited, and the first two books are available on Amazon right now. In fact, you can read them for free if you have Kindle Unlimited, or if you'd like the digital copy, it's currently going for $4.99. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I look forward to hearing all of your opinions on what was shared in the comments down below. Thank you. We'll see you in the next one.